The cargo bay of Station Kepler 442 hummed with the usual symphony of hydraulics and distant engine thrums. Elena adjusted her exosuit's weight distribution as she maneuvered the fourth supply crate of the morning into position. Sweat beaded on her forehead despite the climate control's manual labor in low gravity was deceptively exhausting. She didn't notice the shadow until it moved. A flash of midnight fur and luminescent green eyes emerged from behind a stack of agricultural containers. Elena froze, her hand instinctively moving toward the emergency beacon on her belt. The creature was the size of a large house cat, but there was nothing domestic about the way it moved. Liquid grace wrapped around coiled muscle. Predatory instincts evident in every calculated step. A Velcaran cub. A predator cub from one of the most dangerous species in the known galaxy. "Oh hell," Elena whispered. The cub later she would learn his designation was Taro tilted his head at her voice. 6 needle-sharp claws extended from each paw. The kind that could shred titanium plating given time and motivation. His ears, elongated and tipped with small tufts, swiveled to track every sound in the cavernous bay. Adult Velcarons stood 7 feet tall, and had been known to hunt in packs capable of taking down armored shuttles. This one was young, maybe 8 weeks old by Earth standards, and he was staring at her with the kind of intensity that made her spine tingle. Elena remained perfectly still. Station protocol was clear. Evacuate immediately upon encountering uncontained predator species. Call security. Seal the sector. But something made her pause. The cub's ears weren't pinned back in aggression. His tail, thick and striped with bioluminescent bands, curved in what the Velcaran liaison had once described as curious interest during a diplomatic briefing. "Easy there, little guy," Elena said softly. "You're not supposed to be here." Taro chirped an unexpectedly melodious sound and took 3 steps closer. Then, before Elena could react, he bunched his haunches and leaped. She gasped as 20 pounds of apex predator landed squarely on her back, tiny claws finding purchase in the reinforced fabric of her work suit. The material was rated for industrial hazards, thankfully, or those claws would have drawn blood. Taro settled himself between her shoulder blades, his warm weight surprisingly comforting, and began to purr. The vibration resonated through her entire body. "You've got to be kidding me," Elena muttered, craning her neck to look at him. Taro yawned, displaying rows of serrated teeth, then rested his chin on her shoulder, as if he'd found the perfect napping spot. She should call security. She really should call security. Instead, Elena checked her work terminal. 18 more crates to move, 3 system diagnostics to run, and a maintenance check on the gravity stabilizers in Section 7. 4 hours left in her shift. She looked at the cub again, who blinked slowly at her, what the Velcaran liaison called a trust gesture. "All right, Taro," she said, somehow knowing that was his name, feeling it fit the small predator perfectly. "But you're staying put. Deal?" Taro purred louder. Elena returned to work. She lifted, carried, scanned, and logged supplies with 30 pounds of predator cat clinging to her back like a furry, deadly backpack. Taro seemed content to observe, his head swiveling to track movement, his nose twitching at unfamiliar scents. When Elena bent to secure a cargo net, he adjusted his position with gymnastic precision, never losing balance. By the second hour, she'd stopped thinking about him as a dangerous predator and started thinking of him as, well, a cat. An absurdly heavy, potentially lethal cat. But a cat, nonetheless. "You know what's funny?" Elena said as she recalibrated a scanner. Taro's ear twitched in response. "Everyone's terrified of your species. The Velcaran. Apex predators. Death machines. But you're just a baby who wanted a warm back to ride on." She paused, considering her own words. That was the human thing, wasn't it? Every other species in the galactic community saw danger first, calculated threat assessments, maintained proper distance. Humans looked at teeth and claws and thought, but what if we could be friends? It was simultaneously humanity's greatest weakness and its most inexplicable strength. The third hour brought complications. Commander Vex Thor, a Threen with 4 arms and 0 patience, encountered Elena in Corridor 9B. His compound eyes widened, all 12 of them, as he registered Taro's presence. "Technician Elena," he buzzed, his translator rendering his panic in monotone. "That is a Velkaran predator cub on your back." "Yes, sir," Elena replied calmly, continuing her diagnostic of a wall panel. Protocol dictates evacuation if there's imminent danger." Elena interrupted gently. "Taro here has been with me for 3 hours. He's had multiple opportunities to remove my spinal cord. Instead, he's been napping and watching me work." Vex Thor's mandibles clicked in distress. "Taro? You've named it?" "Him, sir. And yes, this is highly irregular. With respect, sir, so is humanity. Dumb. So." Vex Thor studied her for a long moment, his alien features unreadable. Finally, he gestured with 2 of his arms. "Continue your shift." "I will. Inform the Velkaran delegation that we've located their missing cub." "Thank you, Commander." As Vex Thor departed, Elena could have sworn she heard him mutter something about humans and their inexplicable ability to befriend anything with a pulse. The final hour was the hardest. Not because of Taro he remained the perfect passenger, but because word had spread. Elena found herself the center of attention as various crew members found excuses to pass through the cargo bay. Some looked terrified, others seemed fascinated. A Carillion engineer actually took a photograph, chittering about how this would astound his clutchmates. When the Velkaran delegation finally arrived, led by Ambassador Shirakor, Elena expected anger. Instead, the 7-foot-tall predator, who could have torn through hull plating with her bare claws, made a sound somewhere between a laugh and a roar. "Of course it would be a human," Shirakor said, her translator adding warmth to the words. "We've searched for 6 hours. Our sensors, our trackers, our entire security team. And Taro chose a human's back." "I can explain," Elena started. "No need." Shirakor approached slowly, and Taro chirped in recognition. "Cubs imprint on those who show them trust without fear. You didn't run. You didn't call for weapons. You simply continued your work. That is very human." Carefully, almost reverently, Shirakor lifted Taro from Elena's back. The cub mewled in protest but settled into the ambassador's arms. His green eyes never left Elena. "He'll remember you," Shirakor said softly. "Velkarans never forget those who showed them kindness. When he's grown, when he takes his place among our warriors, he'll remember the human who carried him through her shift." Elena smiled, suddenly feeling the absence of warmth between her shoulders. "I'll remember him too." As the delegation departed, Elena returned to her final tasks. Her back felt lighter, colder, but something warm remained in her chest, that peculiarly human sensation of having made an unexpected friend. Above her, through the station's observation ports, stars wheeled in their ancient dance. Out there, a galaxy full of species, calculated risks, maintained boundaries, respected the natural order of predator and prey. And somewhere on that same station, a human